Tight hips, you stretch them, they loosen up, and it feels good. But an hour later, they're tight again. You stretch some more, same result. Here's why stretching never gives you permanent results. When you passively stretch a muscle, your nervous system feels unstable in that range. There is no strength, there is no control, so it tightens straight back up as a protective response. Your hip is the most mobile joint in your body, designed to move in 6 directions. It needs active mobility training, strength at end range, and nervous system trust. Passive stretching is just a small part of it. Today, I'm showing you 5 of the most common hip stretches people do every day and exactly what to do instead to fix your tight hips for good. Number 1, the figure 4 stretch. You know this one. Most people do this as a glute and hip stretch, and it feels good. That's the problem. Feeling a stretch and actually improving your hip mobility are completely different things. The sensation, your nervous system being pulled into a range it doesn't trust. The moment you stand up, it pulls straight back. Instead, do this hip mobility exercise. Sit upright with both knees bent in front of you. Slowly lower both legs to one side under full muscle control until you reach your 90-90 position. Now lower to the other side. You are now actively controlling your hip external and internal rotation. Your nervous system is learning these ranges are safe because your muscles are driving every degree of that movement. That's not a stretch, that's hip mobility training. Number 2, the butterfly stretch. Most people do this one for inner thigh and hip flexibility. Here's the thing, your adductors are getting a passive pull. No load, no control, no strength. And the moment you stand up and move, they snap right back. Do this hip mobility exercise instead. Sumo squat with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Feet wide, toes turned out, sink into the bottom position. Hold the position for 60 to 90 seconds, or you can do a pulsating sumo squat. Here's what's different. You are now loading your inner thighs and hip flexors at end range, under real load, under real conditions. Your nervous system has a reason to accept this position because your body has the strength to control it. That burning sensation deep in your inner thighs and hips, that's your adductors working at their full range. That's strength at length. And that's what passive stretching never gives you. This is one of the most underused hip mobility exercises for people with chronically tight hips. Number 3, the low lunge or the kneeling hip flexor stretch. These are the go-to stretches for tight hip flexors. And everyone has tight hip flexors, especially if you sit at a desk all day. Your hip flexors are in a shortened, compressed position for hours. Then you drop into this stretch for 30 seconds and wonder why nothing changes. Here's what's actually happening. Your hip flexors are tight because your glutes are not working. Your brain is keeping your hip flexors switched on because nothing is switching them off. Passively stretching them gives temporary relief, but never addresses the real cause. Do this hip mobility exercise instead. Same kneeling position, back knee on the floor, upright torso. Now, actively squeeze your back glute as hard as you can. Hold that glute squeeze for 5 seconds, release. Repeat 10 times each side. That glute squeeze creates reciprocal inhibition. When your glute activates, your hip flexor neurologically has to release. You're not forcing the hip flexor to lengthen, you're teaching your nervous system to let it go. And that's the difference. Number 4, the standing crossover stretch. Most people do this one for their outer hip and IT band. Here's something that might surprise you. Your IT band doesn't actually stretch. It's not a muscle. It's a thick band of connective tissue, and no amount of leaning sideways will lengthen it. So this stretch is doing almost nothing for your outer hip. What is tight is your glute medius, the muscle that runs along the outside of your hip. And it's tight because it's weak and overworking. Do this hip mobility exercise instead. You can do this one standing or lying on your side. Slowly lift your top leg with full control. 15 reps each side. This is directly activating and strengthening your glute medius at its full range of motion. The reason your outer hip feels tight after sitting all day isn't because it's shortened, it's because your glute medius switched off and your TFL started overcompensating. This exercise switches your glute medius back on, and that's what lasting hip mobility actually feels like. Number 5, happy baby pose. Most people do this one as a hip opener and groin stretch, and it does feel like a release. But here's the problem: you're completely passive, completely unloaded, flat on your back with gravity doing everything. Your hip has zero reason to trust or own that range when you're upright and moving. You need hip mobility when you're standing, squatting, walking, climbing stairs, and getting off the floor, not lying down passively. Do this hip mobility exercise instead. Active deep squat hold. Feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out. Lower into your deepest squat with heels flat on the floor. 30 to 60 seconds. Breathe into it. Let your hips settle. Gently shift your weight side to side. Same hip opening as happy baby, same groin and hip flexion depth, but now you're upright, loaded, your ankles working, your core is working, your nervous system, learning to trust this position under real conditions. And if you only have time for one thing, do this one every single day. Hip cars. Standing or kneeling, draw your knee up as high as possible, rotate it out to the side, sweep it back and around in a full slow circle. 5 rotations each side. One exercise that takes your hip through every single direction of movement actively and under your own control. And if you want to go deeper, my 6-week hip mobility program inside my app takes everything you have seen today and builds it progressively week by week. Drop a comment below which one of those swaps helped you the most.